Am I live? Is that a thing? Well, that took forever to set up because I guess I don't know. Because of stuff. So I was going to do my booktube video first, but my goddamn camera broke on my computer, so I'm pissed. It's not that bad. I could be worse. My whole computer went down on Christmas Day, and I just got it back up and running today. I did, but in the process, I accidentally plugged my camera into PS2 port, thinking it was a keyboard because on the back of it's just a bunch of USB dongles. Anyway, I fried my very expensive webcam is dead, which is a huge, huge bummer, man. I'm like totally bummed. So I was gonna it's just a pain in the ass to try and go hold up a bunch of books while trying to hold a phone in your hand at the same time. So anyway, the bear wife, is it showing it backwards? Everything's backwards. Is it just backwards for me, or is it backwards for you too? I don't know. Is there settings here? Nope. So anyway, my kid's book, Love and Hamburgers, also backwards looking, is my romance, and then Fake Tattoos is my horror book. So anyway, what's going on with me and Authortube? Authoring books. So I'm in the middle of writing Love and Hamburgers book 2. I keep dealing with catastrophe and real life issues. So I as much as I'd like to put out a chapter every week, and it's not that hard, but um, yeah, I don't know. I've been remodeling my room, so there's a bunch of stuff in my bed right now. But I built a loft bed, and painted and tried to make this my area not a shit pile, although there's still quite a bit of crap around because I'm still in the middle of organizing things. So the Rick and Liz saga, working on book 2 right now, Music and Magic, which is going to be really, really good if I ever get around to writing the chapters. I've got a great outline. I've got lots of sample dialogues and all sorts of things. Source material. It's really just a matter of sticking it all together. So that's non-problematic, other than finding time. Um, I've been working on my car too. I'm trying to get my car registered. My car hasn't been registered over a year. It's been sitting in the driveway, so I'm kind of bringing that thing back to life. And it's basically the only things that are wrong with it is that it's been sitting in the driveway for a year. So, I need to. Oh God! All right, hold on. Okay, there we go. I got my cigarette. I feel better now. So it didn't take. Son of a bitch. Is there a lighter? There, one-handed fire. So I need to do that. I'm probably gonna burn through that real quick here soon and finish it off. Hopefully, very, 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 very soon. I don't know. I'm kind of in a state where yeah, I just feel like there's too much going on in life to be able to find really well, I don't even know what the word is, but this phone, while it does do okay videos, the GPS on it's broken, which I need for work, which means that I haven't been able to earn money, and now I got a little bit of money, and I'm trying to like buy a new phone, and wait until the new year, and so I, buy a new camera for my computer now, top it all off. Um, mm, it's just a constant barrage of the death of a thousand needles, or a thousand pricks. That's what they call it. That's my life. Um, so yeah. Um, plus I have also been I've been kind of diving into escapism and playing lots of video games lately. So that's a thing too. Not helping my writing at all. I'm at the midway point of book 2 of the Fake Tattoos series, book 2, Elise God and the Witches. And that's been actually really enjoyable. I've really been enjoying writing that. But I had to take a break from it. I sent the first half of the book out to an editor, and I got that back, but I haven't had a chance to look at the notes yet. So gonna re-edit part 1, the first half of book 2, before I work on the rest of book 2. Is plans on that. I'm sure I'll finish it at some point here. But also other priority stuff is Fake Tattoos book 1, because I could not afford any editing on that at all, although I've become a better writer, and so that kind of helps, I guess. Looking back at it a year later now, I realize that I have a lot of things that I need to rewrite. There was a lot of mistakes, I guess would be the word. And so things like where I spell pedal Peddle instead of Pedal. So when I'm talking about bicycle pedals, so I had to go through, fix all the stuff like that. I'm basically going through and doing working on the second edition of Fake Tattoos, the first book. And so when that's done, I'm shooting a new cover for it, and then I'm re-releasing the second edition version of Fake Tattoos, which will be a lot better than the first version. Plus, I screwed up on some of the printing stuff. Not that it's detrimental to the reading process, but the cost of printing is too high, and I'm going to reduce the font sizes and line spaces in between lines and other things. And so, yeah, so that'll hopefully bring the price on the book down, because right now I've got it at something ridiculous like $20. For if you want to get a first edition with mistakes in it, it's $20. But when the second edition comes out, it should be closer to like, something more reasonable, like $13-14, something like that. God damn, they put these things in the cigarettes that make them go out if you stop smoking it for 2 seconds. And the thing that they put in to make the cigarette go out, it's like a big wad of paper basically, and that looks really cool on the camera though. So anyway, so that's what I'm working on. Those are my primary projects as always. I've got I really need to start making some money. If it's really the hindrance right now. When I was writing Fake Tattoos, the first one, I was homeless, and which meant I had a lot of time on my hands. But now that I'm not, I have a lot more things to pay for, even though I'm not paying rent right now. But I still have to pay for bills and stuff, and which means I have to work. And when I work, I don't make money because I don't work full time, and um, so it's rough. Plus the whole GPS thing that I told you about. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me with my author tubing, with my authoring, author writing, book writing, whatever. So I'm trying to keep going, but it's like I don't really have a lot of readers. Wattpad is like my stories I think are too mature for the Wattpad audience, if that makes sense. Or I'm too male for the Wattpad audience might be part of the issue too. I don't know. I haven't been able to really build any kind of community thing, and there's a thing going on Wattpad now where like they did the basically it's like the exposure is hard because I don't fit the Wattpad model, right? I don't write slash fic, okay, which is like the most popular thing on Wattpad is slash fic, and then the other thing is like teen YA stories, which I don't write either because don't I just don't care about teen stuff. Um, it's just most of it seems kind of really like superficial to me. If when I was a teen, that stuff was very, very exciting. Or when I was a young adult, when I was in my 20s, like YA was cool still. But now that I'm like 40, like it just doesn't interest me. And it's hard enough to keep motivated with writing the stuff that I like, let alone writing stuff that I don't like. I do have lots of pokers in the fire, though. I've been kind of building a lot of starts. I have a lot of hot starts that I could continue on. A lot of stories that I could work with. Um, but let's talk about fake tattoos for a second. Let's talk about. So originally it was supposed to be one book, and then I realized no, it's a bunch of books, and I thought it was going to be like 8 books or 9 books, maybe even 10 books. Um, but I decided to change that this year, and so one of the things where I was about this is really like a couple months ago, I realized that some of the books that I was going to write for fake tattoos aren't necessary. I mean, they're good stories, but they're not necessary. And the bulk of those stories involved the character Samantha. And so Samantha, I decided what I would do is do a spin-off series that's more kind of geared towards um the I wouldn't necessarily say the YA audience, but more YA friendly, I guess is the word. So yeah, that's the idea with that. So the Samantha Chronicles, although they're still technically adult books, because the characters are adults, it's gonna be it's more almost like new adult, more like Love and Hamburgers, or not Love and Hamburgers, first book of the Rick and Liz saga, and that's a new adult series, even though new adult isn't popular, but it's in that nice little middle ground between YA and adult. So you still have these kind of young characters that people like, but then it's a little more mature subject matter, like not really mature, not like Fake Tattoos 1, but like more like what would be a good, trying to think of a good example to compare it to. I don't know. I don't read a lot of new adult stuff. But I like the concept. It's um, but I just don't know many books that would fall into that category. It seems most like the adult books that I read is more like the 30. Everybody's like 30 years old, and all these adult books that I read, like, and rarely do you see people with like 40 or 50 or 60. Um, as the main characters of these stories. It's usually like 30-year-olds. Because I think in everybody's mind, once you hit 30 and go beyond that, it's like, oh, I'm just like 30 in my brain for the rest of my life, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm 40. I feel like I'm 30. Um, my bank account feels like I'm 25, though. I'll tell you that. So, but anyway, um, so this is kind of more like new adult stories that I had planned, like Samantha's New Brood and stuff. I'm putting those into the Samantha Chronicles, and the Samantha Chronicles are going to be um, they're going to be under the pen name Michael Crawford, who is the main character of the first Fake Tattoos book. And so that way it's, I'm putting it out underneath a different author. It's slightly different style than the actual Fake Tattoos book, because the idea is like, okay, what is the book that he was writing that got published in that universe, and what does that look like? And so I'm kind of going with like that, where he's just like writing books about Samantha, because that's his muse, right? So anyway, so that's kind of like the fake. So I only really cut right now. I've only got like one book cut out of the Fake Tattoos series. So that's going into the Samantha Chronicles, and then the other book that I'm writing, the Samantha Chronicles, I guess that was going to be Fake Tattoos Zero, is what I was going to call it. It's going to be the 10th book, but that ended up being the first book of the Samantha Chronicles. And then what was going to be book. What? Wow, that's crazy. That it must just be the way the camera is syncing with the what do you call it? The light. It stopped now, but it was blinking there for a second. I may have hold it just the right angle. I don't know what was causing that, but it's a fluorescent bulb, so maybe there's a frequency or something that the camera's picking up. I can't see in real life, but anyway, so if you see blinking in the background, it's just what it is. But tangent. But anyway, God, this video is going long because I'm a rambler. Um, so yeah, so far two of the books from Fake Tattoos have moved over to the Samantha Chronicles, is what I'm getting at. And then I kind of reordered the the Fake Tattoos books because of that. So originally it was going to be, we had the Michael Crawford story, which is book 1, Fake Tattoos. Elise God and the Witches, which is book 2, is Elise's story. And then I was going to have Sarah, Samantha, and the Devil was going to be book 3, but now that's changed. So I decided instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to bump up book 4 to book 3. And that, right? Yeah. So originally book 4 was going to be building Double V, and the story of building Double V. But that's now book 3, and that follows Martha, who is the head of Building Double V, the secret organization that is in Los Angeles. That is it's a clandestine government agency, basically. And so that's book 3 is going to be from. Book 3 is basically the perspective. It's book 3 is essentially book 1. It's the same events, but it's from the perspective of the government agency, essentially. So in a way, it's more of a continuation of book 1, and that way we get to tie back into the first book better, because Elise Gone and the Witches and Sarah Samantha and the Devil are both prequels. So this way, it's gonna, instead of going now time prequel sequel, which was the original plan, now it's gonna go from the, let me get, my computer went off. That was my light source, my front facing light source. So basically, after Elise Gone and the Witches, then it goes Building Double V, and then we'll have Sarah, Samantha, and the Devil. So we're kind of like spacing out the prequels between the current timeline. And so then you get it. So we have the Lee's story, which is Samantha's mother, and then Building Double V, and then it's going to go into Sarah's origin, or Samantha's origin story, and then we're going to do Peanut Christ Superdog, which was originally book 5, is now going to be, or was originally book 6, now it's book 5. So that's kind of like our break before we get into the sequels. And then there's 3 sequel books. Is there 3? Yeah, there's 3 sequel books to the original Fake Tattoos book. And Building Double V happened. It's kind of starts a little bit before book 1. And then it's the same timeline as book 1. So that's Fake Tattoos. Boom, done. All right, no more talking about fake tattoos. So then right now in the Rick and Liz saga, I'm gonna finish up book 2 here at some point, and I'm just gonna buzz through it, I'm sure, in January here, hopefully, and finish up book 2, Music and Magic, and then that gets put on the shelf until next October, which I don't think October is like a good month to start the series in, but I'm kind of stuck with it now, because it's just like, you got October, you got Halloween, and then you got November and Thanksgiving and NaNoWriMo and then Christmas. So it's really tough right during those months. But it's actually also the easiest things to write. So I don't know. Can I flip my camera? I can flip my camera. Let's go to Wattpad for a second, because this will make more sense here if I actually give you visual aids. Oh, I got my finger over the button. Wattpad.com. All right. Yeah, so Wattpad, this is part, so notifications, 250 notifications, because here's the thing, right? With Wattpad, they changed up the format because people were just like blasting. I don't know, how do I focus? People were just blasting the most like asinine shit, right? Like every waking thought, like it's just like somehow Wattpad turned into Facebook. And so then they started doing this, like, you have 9 new announcements, 28 new announcements, 24 new announcements, And so if you really want to see what they are, you can click on them. But like, you know, this is kind of like cuts it down, cuts down some of the BS, um, that's going on. Yeah. So actually, this looks like it's a lot better. What I think is what happened is, like, um, people have kind of cut down on their crap because they know nobody's seeing it anymore. Uh, I think, which is a good thing, but on the other hand, its announcement system is just like, it's just shot. Because if you really want to like what I do is if there's somebody I care about, I just go to conversations and I just look at the conversations because you know what, all I'm really interested with people is this part here, like do they have something new posted? That's all I care about. Um, so MR Orange Supervillain, this is the one I've really been kind of distracted in writing. Uh, it's yeah, I I I'm totally pantsing this thing, and it's just like this guy MR Orange. He's such a character. Like he's basically like a Grand Theft Auto character is what he is, and Saints Row if you're into Saints Row instead of Grand Theft Auto. I actually really like uh I prefer Saints Row to Grand Theft Auto, but Grand Theft Auto is the original, so a lot of people like know that better. But anyway, so I've just been kind of like free writing these go to the chapter. No, how does this work? Why isn't it letting me? Something wrong with my internet? I don't know what's happening. Oh, here it goes. But yeah, basically he's this guy. No one knew what MR's face looked like. Boy, when the people in Viceport saw the orange ski mask coming down the street, they knew it was time to find something else to do. The mere sight of it could cause grown men to shriek like women. So basically, it's a crime novel. There's just this guy. He's just a total agent of chaos. It just does whatever he feels like. Basically, the guy had a mental break a while. This is the actual story as you get into. Originally, the idea was that there was just going to be no reason behind the things he does. He just does things. But then, as I started writing, I realized that he's got he has motivation. He had a mental break, and he used to be a normal person, but now he's a super villain. MR Orange Super Villain, that's the name of it. And this one's so much fun to write because you can put this guy in just the most absurd situations, because he's a supervillain. I mean, just think of what supervillains, like what their life must be like, and that's like the kind of the idea behind this. It's a crime novel, and I think it even has like possible market potential. That's the thing. It's like market potential is so tough. It's so tough to get like a real publishing deal. But this is something I'm not, it's fun. I'm not like super duper in love with it. It's not like, it's the there's nothing in it precious to me, that's the thing. Because like the fake tattoo stories and the Rick and Liz stories, those are like, those are like precious stories to me. But this is, I don't care. It's bubblegum. It's fun garbage. It's written by me, so it's well written bubblegum, but it's still bubblegum, and so yeah, so I have no problem handing it over to a publishing agency, and they can chop the shit out of it and do whatever it is that they want to do to it. And I'm not going to complain at all if there's a check coming my way. You know what I mean? I have been trying to write this cozy mystery, and I hate it. I really do. I'm trying to do it as basically like a present to my mom because that's what she reads. And it's just, I hate those books. When I get my booktube video up and running, then you will see what I mean when I'm talking about cozy mysteries. But I'm not gonna go into the whole cozy mystery thing right now. But basically, yeah, that was like an idea. I could write something for my mom she'll like, and it'll have commercial potential and all that. But it's just like I sit down, I got it all, I got a good portion of it outlined, and I sit down, I start to write it, and it's just like, oh, it's like pulling teeth, like, you know, yeah, but so yeah, so that's really, I would say, MR Orange Supervillain is the real kind of main book that's off the rails. Turn this back around. So if you go to my Wattpad here, we've got Texaken. I just put this out. This is all my stuff from my Tumblr blog, all my essays and writing, novel writing, the Rogue Scientist's Guide to Novel Writing. This is basically a book about my philosophy on how to write a book. And I have another series that was published, and it was basically a genre definition theory, and so I'm going to take I took that off of Wattpad, off of Amazon, and I'm gonna incorporate it into the novel writing, trying to shoot a cover for Music and Magic, but it's I have to pay people. Fake Tattoos, we're gonna reshoot the cover because of this is really like on the book, it's pixelated, because I basically made this image on my phone because I was homeless at the time. So we're doing a photo shoot where I'm going to be dressed up all thug gangster, and we're going to shoot some photos. I'm going to put some fake tattoos on. So I'm all fake tattooed up. Elise God and the Witches. I really like this cover. I got the picture of this girl was a stock image, and then I redid her hair, and I got rid of some of she had like a bow or some shit. It was like a fantasy. She was like an elf or something, and I redid it to make it look like this. And I really like this cover. I think this cover is just going to stay as it is. Hard ink. This is what I was telling you, Michael Crawford's Hard ink. So this is where I'm moving my kind of non-canonical, not important to the main fake tattoo story stuff is getting moved over to there. Science fiction short stories. I've got 12 stories now, so or not. Some of them are double sectioned, so 10 stories or whatever. But still, I'm gonna start submitting these to some fiction magazines and see if I can get any of those published. Dead Man, a dark romance. As much as I want to keep working on this, it's kind of in the weeds in it right now because it is outlined, but I'm very much this was another Pantser project, and it kind of went off the rails a little bit, and I need to get it back on track. I'm in the middle of the book, which is ugly. I know the beginning, I know the end, but the middle is kind of bleh. So yeah, this is just a silly project where I'm working on a role-playing game system. Ignore that. Bank Left View. So this was something that I wrote a while ago, and this was supposed to this was just like this was an experiment in basically coming out of my fear of being too smutty, I guess is the word. Being I wrote the first chapter as an experiment when I was in college because I felt like I was being too safe, and so I was like, well, what's the most like offensive thing I could come up with? So like in the first chapter here, this is I forget these guys. This has been so long since I worked on it that I forget these guys' names. But this dude is like a security corporate dude, and she's a transvestite prostitute, and they're friends. They live in the same neighborhood, and they're kind of like they don't. It's a sci-fi, so they're in the future, and there's not really like relationships like we have in our time. You know, it's very more loose. Um, People don't really get married and stuff. It's just kind of everybody's really what's the word? Free love kind of thing. But basically, the idea is to what? All right, I'm back. Sorry, my phone app crashed. Crash. So yeah, basically that's I would like to work on that, but that's something I really like that story. It's a really cool story. But it's low priority. Yeah, I think my internet connection kind of sucks too. Bank left view. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. So Rat Park, that's gonna here's the thing with the fake tattoo series. I'm kind of like writing these all like in tandem. So hopefully this won't take a million years to load. Yeah, so I've got so many ideas for stories that just it's hard. Crazy Town, like that's a fun one too. I won't even tell you about half these things, man, because like I could just go on forever about all of these. So yeah, so Peanut Christ, Super Dog, that was going to be Fake Tattoos number 5, but it's not. It's going to be or it was going to be 6, but now it's number 5 because we're cutting. What is it? Fish or cut bait, right? So let's update that as Fake Tattoos number 5, not number 6. I'm gonna have to redo that cover. Yeah, my internet's going a little slow, probably because of I'm doing this video. Dead Man and Dark Romance is really good. I don't think it'll ever sell though. Like it's just too hardcore, I think, for anything mainstream. Prince in the Tower was a good idea, but I'm not feeling it, you know? Like that's the thing. Like it's when I'm in the published, I need all stories. Oh my god, why do I have to click the show more? Why don't you just load them all up? Like seriously, Wattpad. Like I think I might build a new Wattpad, like a Wattpad for like adults. I think is what's gonna happen. Victor, I don't think I'm gonna write that. That was a idea of like a story. Because Michael Crawford talks about books that he's written, and like I was thinking about writing those under his pen name, but like Battle of Angel City, Fake Tattoos 9, I guess that's number 8 now. Building Double V was gonna be book 5, now it's book 3. But yeah, so like, see, so I'm basically I'm I'm writing all of the fake tattoo books in tandem. That's what I'm trying to say here. Is while it seems like I'm not, it seems like I'm not writing, but I actually am writing. I'm just not showing you guys my writing because it's also discombobulated right now. The blank book. This is actually going to be really great I'm going to finish this soon and publish it. But the blank book is a workbook for writers, and the book is actually going all the pages are going to be blank except for each page has a sentence on the top, which is kind of like a guide stone to like you know coming up with your book. Like this is just idea book. That's just like that's just like a bunch of ideas for books that I want to write. And so this one, Beyond Twilight, a paranormal parody. This is probably you know if I'm going to do that. I think that might end up just turning into one of the Samantha Chronicles. Like that's kind of the great thing about having like the Samantha Chronicles is I can kind of like shoehorn in other stories into it that I want to do. Yeah, and of course I have all my fan fictions that are so unimportant to me, but they're so fun to write, like Star Trek Blue Shirts. Down the Road, yeah. So like Down the Road and Crazy Town, those could be like their own series, man. Those are good. Those don't fit into anything at all. Snow Dog, a Dakota, Wyoming mystery. That's the cozy mystery that I've been working on. Yeah, I've got some erotic fiction ideas. I mean, I'm just like, will this make money? Can I make money? You know, that's where I am with it. So, yeah, I don't know. I still use Wattpad as a tool, but as far as like the views go, like I don't think that the needle has moved on like anything in like forever. It's like all of a sudden I stopped existing on Wattpad. Like, you know, a lot of times like people like I don't think they're even reading my stories. I think they're just like fake reading them to like make it to like get me to read their book. It's what I feel like sometimes, and it's just yeah, there's just too many kids. That's the problem. There's just too many kids, and there's too much garbage, and like some of the stuff that I see that ends up getting on the whaties list and shit, and I'm just like, how is this stuff like this needle hasn't moved like in almost a year, and it's like uh, Wattpad could be great. Wattpad could be great. That's the thing. And it's turning into chaos. It's just this like huge chaotic mess of children right now is how I is like every time I like look around on Wattpad past my own page, it's like, oh my God. It's like being in middle school all of a sudden. And it's like, I get sometimes people message me and they just like, I just want to talk. I'm like, well, I don't want to necessarily talk for an hour with a 14-year-old girl. I don't want to read your teenage poetry. I just, I'm just not into it, So yeah, anyway, so that's my Authortube update. Basically, I'm in a rebuilding mode right now is where I am. I wish I had the sort of lifestyle that I could afford to just sit on my ass and write books all day. I would. I actually really enjoy writing. It's a lot of fun. I wish I could just sit and type and type and type and type. Like if I had that kind of lifestyle, if I didn't have to worry about making money and paying bills and all this other stuff, um, I would just sit there and I would write like thousands and thousands of words every day. And I've been in that position, but then all of a sudden my world comes crashing down. I have to deal with all this stuff, and even trying to do it like piecemealing it out, like to go and like work for a couple of days. It throws me off because I go work for a couple of days and I'm just so exhausted from working that I just don't feel like writing. All I want to do is sit around and watch Hawaii 5-0 or play a video game or something like that. And I don't write anything. It's just like all of a sudden it's like, oh, I've done all this work for like little to no money and now I'm gonna do work for free. um and so I'm trying to figure out a way to fix this situation. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can just write. Because if I could just write, I probably finish the fake tattoo. I could write a 3 or 4 books a year, easy, if I didn't have to have a job. Or even if I just had a job that paid well so that I could go out and, eat at a restaurant. Like being able to eat at a restaurant is like a huge like energy saver because I mean I'm on food stamps, so I'm like sitting there, like I make a meal, I'm making it like from scratch, like I'm like not even like microwave dinners. It's like because I'm trying to stretch my food budget. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna shred potatoes for an hour, and then I eat and then I'm like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna play a video game. I'm gonna watch a TV. I'm gonna read a book. So oh, did you see it? The flashing thing happened again. But anyway, I don't know. That's where I'm at. So hopefully I will get back on track here soon. Yeah, but it's gonna take a couple months, before I can really get, I'm gonna try and, like I said, I'm gonna just try and focus on getting my Fake Tattoos 1 edition 2 out, and then and then it's just going to be trying to get book 2 of Rick and Liz out, get that done in time for February, hopefully, and then I don't know after that. I'm gonna have to really kind of reevaluate here. So anyway, that's my story. That's my life. That's where we're at. 2018, 2019. Here we come. I'm just like big eyes. Because it's just like thinking about it, it's like, oh my god, I got so much work to do. So anyway, that's where it's at. I will talk to y'all later. If you watch this, thank you. If you didn't, I won't be surprised. Most people don't watch my Authortube stuff anyway. So have a good one, everybody.